Okay, just seeing who else was coming in here. So thank you all so much for joining us. We're going to go ahead and get started. And my name is Breezy Barcelo. I know some of you are new scholars on here. I'm so glad you're here. So you may or may not have met me yet, but I'm one of your scholar support specialists. So you probably get to know me over time. And we just have a great session planned for you with Synchrony, who we're so thankful for. Um, you may or may not know that Synchrony is a great, helpful partner of ours and actually funds 70 of our scholars now, which is just huge. We're just so thankful for that. Those of you who are renewal scholars may have gotten some notes of encouragement last year, and that was from Synchrony. Synchrony helps us with laptops, which is a huge help and amazing. So we are just really so grateful for the Synchrony team. And I'm going to have them introduce themselves in a moment. But first, I would love for our Rankin team to introduce. Like I said, I'm Breezy. I'm one of your scholar support specialists. I live in Kalamazoo, Michigan. You see my name on emails and surveys and all that good stuff. I was also a Rankin scholar, so I'm a Rankin alum. So I have that experience too, like you. So that's great. Latrina, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Thank you, Breezy, and for opening it up. My name is Latrina Artist. I am the Scholar Grant Program Director here at the Foundation. I too, like Breezy, was a Rankin Scholar many moons ago, and so certainly understand the walk and, am just grateful to have the opportunity to support the Scholar Grant team and volunteers that I work with for our program. So welcome, everybody. Lori?
Hi, everyone. My name is Lori Smoker. I am one of the Tribal Scholar Support Specialists for the Rankin Foundation. I live in Montana on the Fort Peck Reservation. I'm so happy to see you all here tonight, and I'm looking forward to getting to know you better.
And then Lori from Synchrony, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, my name's Lori Thomas. I'm from Queens, New York, and I help the scholar program out, volunteer my time as part of Synchrony. So I'm really, really happy to be here, and I can't wait to see this session tonight. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and then we have Shireen, and I'm just gonna am I saying your name correctly,
You
Shireen?
are. Yes, you are.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and read your beautiful bio, and then I'll let you take it away. So Shireen Scott is the VP, Merchant Performance Management Solutions, and is responsible for ensuring the delivery and execution of key activities across the home and auto platform, focused on the merchant and provider performance management lifecycle. She has been with Synchrony just over 7 years and is a strategic problem solver with a proven ability to foster strong partnerships and engage stakeholders across all levels of the organization. She is also an innovative and highly motivated marketer with over 20 years of experience in communications, brand management, project management, and cross-functional collaboration. Shireen is currently the continuous learning operator pillar leader for Black Experiences Plus and is an active member of various ERGs. She holds a Bachelor's of Science in Business with a concentration on Media Studies from Marist University. So how lucky are we to have you join us? Thank you so much for coming and giving us your time and expertise on the topic of elevator pitches. And you can go ahead and take it away.
Thank you. And how lucky am I to be here? So first, let me say thank you for inviting me to speak to this wonderful group of women. Can't wait to get into it. And your elevator pitch, by the time you're done, will be much shorter than my bio, I assure you. If you have the deck, and if you're able to share the deck for me, that would be wonderful. Please let me know when you see it. Okay, there we go. So yes, as mentioned, today we will be talking about elevator pitches, and I'll be giving just a 5-step approach. It'll be super simple. So by the time you're done, you can speak to anybody, whether you're at the grocery store, whether you're meeting your, ideal like employer that you'd like to work for, you'll be able to be able to stand up and speak about what you do and what you can offer with ease. If you go to the next slide, the first thing we'll talk about is what is an elevator pitch. So an elevator pitch, it's a door opener. It's really just like a conversation starter. The term elevator speech, it was popularized to describe like the most effective message that you can give when you find yourself in an elevator, standing magically next to the ideal contact or prospect. And after you make introductions, if they ask you, so what do? You only get to talk for as long as it takes the both of you to travel in the elevator from the first floor to the 30th, or the 30th down to the lobby, a mere 30 seconds. So when you hear that ding, your opportunity is over. So what it'll do, it allows people to know who you are, what your areas of expertise are. You don't want to ramble. You have a short window where you can get your impression across. You want to leave a positive impression. So people, they may not remember exactly what you said, but they'll always remember how you make them feel. So, be engaging, be upbeat, and remember, you want to ignite a two-sided conversation. And remember that we're all about to present conversation starters, not a sales pitch or not a job search presentation. So this really is just a way for you to generate interest and make a connection. If you go to the next slide. Okay. Here we're talking about what you should ask yourself when you're doing these elevator pitches. It's think about like, who are you? Like, what are your characteristics, your strengths, what experiences you have? um, what's your plan? Like you have to think about long term. What is it that you're trying to achieve when you do an elevator pitch? Again, these are short, but these are the things you think about before the time, so that when you're in that moment, it'll come like drinking water. You'll be fine. You'll get it down. Your top priorities. That might change as your career trajectory changes, as you're at different points of your life. So revisit this ever so often. What values can you offer? You want to talk about what you're looking for. So yes, while these people are meeting you, you want to make a good impression. You're also thinking about, what do you want out of it? Like, is this somebody that you want to have a long-term connection with? Is this just, okay, I'm meeting this person, maybe this is not somebody that I need to follow up with? Not either case, you still always want to leave a good impression, but you want to prepare for your next course of action. And then what do? You're going to write down your skills and experience, and we're going to get to that as we get later in this presentation. You're going to cross out any experiences that are relevant to your goals, because I know a lot of us probably have resumes that have like a ton of jobs, work experiences. There's things on there I'm sure that you'll never want to do again. So you just throw that into the sea of forgetfulness. You don't add it to your resume unless it's something that, if you're going for a role and you feel like it can add value, then it's time to put it back. But I always say to my mentees, like, anything that you really hated doing, you don't want to do it again, take that off your resume. Take that out of your elevator pitch. Do not add it if you don't like doing it. And then you're going to merge similar experiences and skills. By the time we're done, you'll be able to pull out 2 to 4 statements of focus that you can get like a concise introduction when you meet someone new. If you go to the next slide, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to identify who you are and what you do. Can you go to the next slide? So for those on the call who haven't, like, if you haven't landed your role as yet, or even if you're in a role that you'd like to change, we're going to use this to talk about your strengths, where you can excel. So if you see in this first example, and if you hear my dog in the background, I'm sorry, he gets territorial if anybody passes in front of the house. So just ignore that. But in this first example, this person says, I'm a general manager within the lifestyles platform. I manage a diverse group of passion-driven specialty retailers and OEM partners. If you advance, you'll see another example. This person says, I'm a communicator on the corporate affairs team. I connect employees enterprise-wide by helping them understand our business, culture, and priorities. Here, they're talking about what they do. One person says outright what their title is, and that person is a general manager. The other just mentions that what they do. They're a communicator. So For instance, you might use this as your way of thinking of saying, I'm currently a business major at best university, but hopefully by the time next year, I can say that I love my job in operations, leading a small team. So we're manifesting where you want to see yourself or what you want to do if you're not where you want to be as yet. If you go to the next slide. Then we're going to identify your why. So in this section, you're going to mention why you do what you do, and this will help you better explain your purpose. You'll be able to clarify your passion and your commitment to what you do or what you want to do. This will be the reason why the person you're talking to takes action in the end. If you go to the next slide. So in option one, or the person one says, I thrive by fostering strong partnerships and engaging stakeholders across all levels of the organization, using a collaborative approach to lead, think creatively, and generate results. Remember, this was the communicator. This was the person that worked cross-functionally, and they're trying to drive the culture and business objectives. For our general manager here, they lean into one of their greatest passions is bridging business objectives with strategic solutions to deliver measurable outcomes. Now, this sounds like a lot, but this is how we're thinking of breaking things out when it comes to when we're ready to put together our elevator pitch. You first introduce who you are, maybe where you're from, or what you're studying, or what you do. Then you get into what you bring to the table. Okay. For the first person here, it's the strong partnership, strong partnerships. It's the engaging stakeholders. You're using those keywords that kind of draw them in and paint the picture of your strengths. This person says bridging business objectives, strategic solutions. You're using those identifiers. What do you want to be known as? Are you a problem solver? Are you an executor? Are you great with numbers? This is your opportunity to sprinkle in some of that wording so that people associate that with you. If you go on to the next slide, then we're going to talk about what makes you unique. You want to talk about what makes you special, what makes you so different from everybody else that they're meeting at various times of the day. This might be an opportunity where you mention your greatest accomplishments. This might be an opportunity where you talk about some of the problems you solved. Granted, this is an elevator pitch, so it may not be able to go on this long, but it's always good to have some of those in the back of your mind when you're thinking about if this question comes up. If you say something you saw in the previous slide where you talked about what you do, how you solution, maybe that triggered them to ask you, like, tell me how you solve problems. Tell me how you fix solutions. Like, can you give me an example? People sometimes catch you off guard. So you want to be able to think about some of the things that you can talk about and have that ready in your back pocket. Sometimes it's the major contributions you've just made. For example, I know in my company, if there was a major initiative that just happened and launched and it was something that was enterprise wide, if I were having an elevator pitch where I was meeting someone for the first time and I said, oh, hi, yes, I'm Shireen Scott. I'm on the corporate affairs team. I'm no longer on that team. I'm just using this as an example. Oh, yes, I was involved with the Great Place to Work rollout or our launch. So that it triggers and associates something that they know about, something that's big, and something that I helped work with or had a hand in. So you want to keep that momentum going, and it gives you credibility. If you go to the next slide. Here you see in the first example, this person said, in addition to managing multi-client relationships, I'm a dedicated champion of diversity. Sorry, that cut off a little bit. Champion of diversity and actively partner with our diversity networks, fostering an environment of inclusion. The second person says, I'm committed to promoting Synchrony's culture of inclusiveness and values-led principles. This shows up through engagement with our employee resource groups, hub activities, and cross-functional teams. So in these examples, these are specific for Synchrony employees because one of our main goals is making sure that we always foster an environment of inclusion, diversity of ideas, of thoughts, of actively engaging our employees. So this would come out in that elevator pitch for the people who are introducing themselves. And then if you go to the next slide. We're going to be talking about including a call to action. You're meeting this person. it seemed like a great conversation, but you don't want it to end there, right? This is the next step. You want to follow up this initial introduction, and we're going to show you some examples of how it all pulls together. But it's as simple as saying, can I find some time on your calendar to talk more? Or can you tell me a little bit more about yourself? Can I follow up with you? So if you go to the next slide, in the first example, this person said, how can we collaborate to amplify our impact and create lasting success? That might be a mouthful. So you have to phrase this in a way that's best for you. You see the second person says, what are some interesting projects that you're working on? And again, you want to make that the time to say, can I follow up with you? Can I put some time on your calendar? Can I get your email so that I can set up some time with whomever? That's how you want to do it. You want to get the other person to take some form of action. It can be an exchange of business cards or e-business cards, because I don't know if everybody still has business cards anymore. It can be a connection on LinkedIn. I know that for me, that seems to be the most common practice, where we'll exchange our LinkedIn links so that we can follow each other, or following or setting up a follow-up meeting. If it's a prospect that you'd really like to get in front of, maybe they're working someplace where you'd really like to have a place of employment. You can ask them, can I set up some time? And this could be the start of a new relationship that'll hopefully lead to your end goal. But even if it doesn't lead to your end goal, it's setting the table for like a collaboration or a long-term network building. And in due time, you may be able to get to that point where you feel comfortable to make the ask if there is an ask. Or they can be somebody who may end up in your personal board of directors. That's what I call my trusted people that I can turn to, call, reach out to, and say, hey, can I get your thoughts on this? Can I get your opinion on this? And because we've built that trust and built that relationship, they're able to actually give me valid feedback, good, bad, whatever it may be. I can hear them, and you'll build that relationship where you know them over time, that they can give you true trusted advice. So before I even go on to the fifth step, I just want to make sure that I'm not going too fast. If people have questions, that they're either raising their hand so that you can jump in at any time. I meant to say that up front. I want this to be collaborative. Now, if you go to the next slide, we're going to be talking about practicing and revising your elevator pitch. One of the best things you can do is practice your pitch out loud. You want to say it to family members, colleagues, co-workers, friends. Like, don't be afraid to change it. Your elevator pitch is going to go through a lot of different iterations. It's going to change over time. You're going to add to it, take away from it, depending on your accomplishments, problems you solved, where you're at in your life. Just remember not to ramble. You want to really practice getting it down to 30 seconds or less. I have met with people who have told me a whole slew of information where it may have been really interesting, but it was just too much. It's like drinking from a fire hose. You, you want to just leave them with enough that they want to know more and they want to ask you questions. You don't want to give them your full bio on first meeting where it's just overwhelming. So remember that there's 3 C's for elevator pitches. Keep it concise. So you want to be succinct, clear, few words as possible. You want to be clear, because an effective elevator pitch should be understood in layman's terms. You don't want to use large, like, acronyms or terminology or things that people just won't get. And make it compelling. What problem did your business solve, or did you solve, or that you're looking to solve? Like, give them something, a reason that they say, hey, I need to follow up with this person. If you go to the next slide, you're going to see how we pull it all together. So in this first example, I've named her Shauna. Shauna Thomas is what I've named her. And so she'll say, hi there, my name is Shauna Thomas. I'm a general manager within our life cycle space, and I manage a diverse group of specialty retailers and OEM partners. My passion lies in turning ambitions into reality for both our merchants and consumers, seamlessly aligning business objectives with strategic solutions that deliver measurable outcomes. In addition to managing multi-client relationships, I'm a dedicated champion of diversity, actively engaged in multiple diversity networks. I'm interested in learning more about you, though. How can we collaborate to amplify our impact and create lasting success? So notice, even though it was written out, everything was very detailed, I didn't say it in a way that sounded like, hi there, my name is Shauna. I'm a general manager. I've had people that I can tell have practiced to the point where it had to be on a cadence and they'll catch themselves if they mess up. So, like, get so comfortable with your elevator pitch that it just feels like breathing. Okay. And then if you notice, in the last question there, she changed. Instead of saying, I'm interested in learning more about you, she said, what industry do you specialize in? What are some unique strengths do you consider your superpower? Now, even though this example, I had done this with a partner when we had presented it within our own company. Sometimes you like we had discussed the second part of that where it says, what unique strengths do you consider your superpower? It may be hard to come out with something like that just out the gate, just meeting somebody for the first time. You'll know what introductory questions sound right to you. You'll know what feels comfortable. So don't feel like you have to ask them for their life story or their deepest, darkest in that first meeting with them. If you go to the second example, and I've named this person Renee. So this person says, hi, I'm Renee Joseph. I'm a communicator on the corporate affairs team, which means I connect employee enterprise-wide by helping them understand our business culture and priorities. I've been with Synchrony over a little 5.5 years and can say that I thrive by fostering partnerships and engaging stakeholders across all levels of the organization. I think I'd say I have a collaborative approach to leading, thinking creatively, and generating results. But most of all, I'm committed to promoting Synchrony's culture of inclusiveness and values led principles. And this shows up through some of the engagement activities that our employee resources group have, our hub activities, and cross functional teams. So tell me, what are some interesting projects that you're working on? Or you can change that up. So what did you do before joining Synchrony and what brought you here? For any of you, you might say, so what company are you with and what's your area of expertise? Or depending on where you are, if you're at a networking event, maybe it's something where people have come to you, and maybe it's a Jeanette Ranking Foundation event. You can reach out to people and say, how long have you been involved with the organization? And, there's different ways that you can do that intro. And once you ask that question, they speak back to you. You say, can I follow up with you so that I can learn more about what you do? So there's avenues that you can reach out to people so that you can keep that relationship going. If you go to the next slide, here is a formula that we can go through, and you're going to have time to go into breakout sessions and really go through this so you can build your own elevator pitch. So the questions are there that can help lead how you answer. And by the time you're done, you'll be able to pitch out to each other. So we will take some time to go through this, and let me see if I can before we get back to this, I'm going to come back to this, but I wanted to get into some of the barriers that people feel when they do have to introduce themselves for the first time or speak on a large scale or, stand up in front of a crowd, be it small or large. There are some common obstacles that people sometimes face. So if we go to the next slide, we're going to talk about overcoming common challenges. And I've gotten this information from, we call them wellness coaches that our company employs that we can use as resources to just talk about things that are on our mind. And they were kind enough to give some examples on what most people encounter. And this goes for everyone, even those of us that have been doing this for a long time. Sometimes there's things that we need to overcome or get past so that we can realize we're not in this by ourselves. A lot of people go through this, which is why I wanted to include this in this deck. So if you go to the next slide, the first part is imposter syndrome. And, ironically, I feel like women are most impacted by this. What is it? It's when you feel, it's also known as imposter phenomena, but it's when you feel like you're not good enough or that they're not going to pick you, or how did I get this role, this job? It's where you doubt your skills, your talents, your accomplishments, and you have this internal fear of being exposed as, oh my God, they're going to know I can't do this. I'm a fraud. you don't believe in yourself, you don't believe in your luck, it creeps in. It's insidious. It's not something that may come overwhelmingly, but it creeps. It's those that little voice inside your head that says, maybe I can't do this. If you go to the next slide, what is it? It's negative thinking. So what I loved about this slide that was presented, one shows what you know and what you think others know. But in reality, we all know about the same amount. It may be different things. Some of it overlaps if you see from the middle part. So that's how you can help each other, feed off of your colleagues, feed off of friends. You know, we have to get past that overwhelming fear that everyone knows everything and you're going to sound dumb, or you're not going to sound like you know what you're talking about, or have this fear of failing, or it holds you back, when in reality it's okay to say, oh, you know what, I don't know about this, but I can find out, or I can reach out to someone who knows. That it's okay not to know everything, and it's okay to sometimes feel this way, but we have to push back it. We can't let it paralyze us. And a lot of people, it'll paralyze you from even taking that first step to introduce yourself, or even stepping out on a limb and saying, hey, I'm going to talk about my accomplishments. So I thought it was important for us to talk about this today, so that it's not something that you stop yourself from branching out. If we go to the next slide, there are ways to address it. So this gives you some concrete actions that you can take. You're going to reflect on your achievements, the things that you have done. If you've gotten your degree, if you've gone back to school, if you've raised a family, that in and of itself is an achievement. That, I think, when people raise families, it's like a whole job in and of itself. And I'm speaking from experience. People don't know how much you have to be a business manager, a nurse, a coach, you're arranging schedules, all of it. And then on top of that, to go through getting your degree, going back to school, it's commendable. You want to share your feelings out, preferably outside of the setting where you feel that imposter syndrome. So you want to share with friends, trusted advisors. Remember, I mentioned having that personal board of directors. You'll eventually have, I say, a set of five people. They may not know each other, but they know you. And they'll be able to talk to you when you're going through these moments of, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do this. They'll be able to help you realize the things that you've done, the things that make you special. They'll boost you up when you need it. And expect to make mistakes at the beginning of new experiences. I think a lot of us forget to give ourselves grace when you're starting a new job, a new thing, whatever it may be. There's a learning curve. There's going to be time for you to acclimate, ask questions, say that, hey, I don't fully get how this works, or can you help me understand this more? That's the time that you do that. Don't be afraid to do that. I don't care how long I've been in a role. I'm going to ask questions. If I don't know, I'm going to seek somebody else out to say, hey, can you talk to me about this? I'm not getting why we do this or what this is, or can you tell me what that acronym means? Everybody's throwing it around and seems to know it. I do not. I am not afraid to say that I don't know something. And then seek out a mentor. There's always someone who knows a bit more about what it is that you're trying to learn. Don't be afraid to reach out and ask for help. If you go to the next slide. Mindfulness and activities and buildings for self-confidence and self-esteem. So these are some like touch points of what you can do, tangible things you can do to help boost your self-esteem and boost your confidence. List 10 things that you've accomplished in your life. And no, they do not have to be groundbreaking. I've gotten a Guinness Book of World Record, whatever. No, you just think of the things that you accomplish. You finish what you start. That's an accomplishment. Some people don't do that. You're great at organizing. You're a whiz with numbers. You've created some cross collaboration project, whatever it may be. Write down your accomplishments, things that you wouldn't mind talking about if somebody were to ask you. Every night, write down one success you had that day. There are people that I know that a success that they had that day was getting up. So whatever your success is, and only you personally know what that success is for the day, write down your success for that day. Maybe it was giving somebody a compliment. Maybe it was finishing a project, but write down what you've done for that day. If you're into journaling, Journal positive things about yourself. Use categories such as like whether it be your physical appearance, your personality, your character, your gifts, your time. One thing I like about myself, I smile a lot. That is a physical attribute I have, and I love doing it. People will talk about they don't like to smile because they'll get wrinkle lines. I think that that's a badge of honor. It shows that I've had a good life, so I like to smile. And then share your list with a trusted friend. You can reach out to them to get feedback. Uh, Maybe they have more to add to it. You never know if there's more on there that they say, hey, you forgot this because you're great at that. So that's just tangible ways you can do that. If you go to the next slide. Oh, for some reason, I don't know why it's not in here. Is there any other slides that's this? It may have mixed up. Okay. Well, you could drop the slides. What I will talk about is it's not in here, but I may have sent you an older deck and I apologize for that. There's something called Toastmasters, toastmasters.org, because the second obstacle I had wanted to talk about was public speaking. Some people have this fear of public speaking. If you were to go on the toastmasters.org site and check it out, they do have free meetings where they'll talk about, let me see if I can share. That's okay. Let me know if you see my screen. Yeah, everyone can see that?
Yeah, it's pulling up. Yep, thank you.
Okay. So Toastmasters, it's a nonprofit educational organization, but they have hundreds of thousands of members across 141 countries. And it prepares you by delivering speeches, and it gives you impromptu questions. It talks to you about your cadence when you are doing presentations. This may be something that you're getting now, but later in your career, you may want to revisit this, because I found that after being in corporate for, I want to say 10 years, I had started to develop some bad habits. So just keep this in your back pocket for down the line. It might be something worthwhile to visit. It helped me get rid of the ums and ahs and ands and things like that. They conduct meetings, they boost collaboration, practice time management, sharpen your presentation skills. But again, the thing that I love best about it is that you can drop into meetings for free. So it's a nice way to just listen and learn and see tips and techniques to make sure that you are presenting well. So we'll go back, if we can, to that chart. If you can bring that back up, where we'll get into building your elevator pitch. I'm not sure who was sharing before.
I'm sorry, you said which slide you want me to pull back up?
Bring back up that deck, and it's the formula. I believe it's
Okay.
by 15. Okay, now this might be small on the screen, but what I wanted you guys to start thinking about are these questions. Okay, so first, you're always going to start obviously with your name. Then you're going to think about the first question you're going to think about is like, if you're in a profession where you're looking to stay in the same field, or you want to get in a certain profession, if you're a student or recent graduate, you're going to want to explain your major and the university you attended. I also try to think about that in terms of what you're interested in. So that's the second question. You're going to want to talk about your experiences, either in your classes or if you've just recently graduated, and explain what field you're interested in doing, like where you'd love to land, what you'd like to do. When you get to the third question, you're going to be talking about what interested you in going into that field, what interested you about that major, what aligns with your values and passions when it comes to what you're majoring in and what you'd like to do. And then you want to state exactly what type of opportunity you're seeking. I think that goes back to when I mentioned something about, like, hopefully in 2 months or 6 months, I'll be working for a team, or I'll be leading a team, or, I'll be in a finance job, or I'll be whatever it is that you're hoping to do. This is where you speak it into existence. And this is where you bring it up in your elevator pitch. So I think what we can do is I don't know if there's a way to send just this page, but we can have people break out and into breakout sessions and just work on their individual elevator pitches. And then we can probably bounce that off of each other with the people in your small groups. If you're ready to share your elevator pitch, tweak it, see how it sounds. I think that's something we could take a little bit of time to do before we come back together.
Okay, that sounds good. It's 6:37, so or sorry, in Eastern time where I am at least. Um, you how long do you want us to take, Shireen, before we
I
come
think
back?
roughly how many people would be in each group?
There are 4 or 5 people in each group, 4 or 5.
So maybe about would 10 minutes be okay? 10 minutes, we take some time to fill this
Yeah,
out
I
and
think
to
so.
share it out. Okay.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and open the rooms and everyone should be assigned to a room.
Oops, where did it go?
Okay, I think we're all back now. I hope that everybody had time to try and practice their elevator pitch with their teams. And hopefully, if questions came out of it, because I know in our group, we had, excuse me, practiced the pitches, and the pitches were really good. So I was asking follow-up questions. And in doing so, I said, you should work that into your elevator pitch. Excuse me one moment. I apologize. I'm here choking and dying. Don't mind me. But the one thing I did want to get into, and you'll see an example here. I'm going to bring this up. Okay, let me know when you see my screen. Hold on. When we were talking about these questions, do you guys see my screen right now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So if you see here, this was one bad example. Hi, I'm Shannon Brenner. I'm a career counselor. I hold a master's degree in education. I have 5 years experience in career development. It says, who cares? I've worked for a nonprofit career center, and I'm a certified teacher. So what? I believe that career coaching can be the catalyst to change your life. Are you asleep yet? See how that was all about me, me, me? That's what that example was. Changing that same pitch, but taking up an outward looking approach. Hi, I'm Shannon Brenner, and I help excellent candidates find excellent jobs. You always want to answer the what's in it for them. For example, I helped a client change jobs with a 40% salary increase. I've helped a client develop the skill to deal with a difficult boss, and I've helped a manager devise new ways to keep her staff motivated. This is what you've given back. Today, when we did our breakout sessions, I heard from someone who wants to help children. I thought that was commendable, and it hooked me in. I heard from someone who wants to help others develop great nutritional habits. It's what they're giving back to someone else. These are the things that people want to hear about. They want to know that you're doing something that's going to help either better the community or better someone else. This is other examples. An Avon representative who says, I help women look beautiful. A business coach that says, I help you get more clients than you know what to do with. An IRS agent, can they be somebody that we're like, yes, I want to know. I'm a government fundraiser. It's kind of spinning, but we get the idea. So when you're crafting your elevator pitch and when you're, honing it, iterating, write down the deliverables, the things that you're gonna come through with when you get into that role, when you have that job, when you open your own business. What is it that you want to deliver? And then you think of the benefits that your clients can drive from the services. And then you want to use the successful outcomes. So once you write that out, write something that's going to grab their attention. You want to do, like it says, the tip here says, best openers leave the listener wanting more information. And you don't have to include your title, especially if you think it has a negative connotation. That's what that was saying. It's cut off. But some people don't want to say I'm a tax collector or that I have to call and get people to send me their bill money or what have you. There's different ways to say that. I help people get out of debt. That's the way I would say it if I was a bill collector. So I want to open it up to questions if anybody does have any questions at this point.
I have a quick question because I didn't know how to answer or reply. Should you say anything about age if you're doing an elevator pitch?
I would leave out the age because whether it's a bonus or a negative, it's I think it's irrelevant. If there is something that's relevant to your age, why you need to say that. Otherwise, your knowledge is your knowledge. Doesn't matter how young you are, how old you are. I wouldn't.
Okay, great. Yeah, I just wanted to bring that up.
Are there any other questions? Somebody said Synchrony Bank. Yes, Synchrony Bank. I work for we go as Synchrony Financial, but we are a bank. We have a bank arm. Are there any other questions on this, or, feel free to ask. If not, then I will say, I hope that you guys found this information helpful. I am gonna just fix and tweak a few things in here that I saw during the presentation and share the PDF so that you do have that worksheet and you can work on it on your own. You can see some of the examples that are in here. And I know that you will each have your dream job. I will follow up with those that we are in contact with to say, where did everybody land? Did the things that they talked about in their pitch come to fruition? Because I know it will. You guys are all inspirational. I'm rooting for each and every one of you. And again, I can't wait to see what the future holds for you. And thank you. Thank you for allowing me to share some information with you today.
Thank you so much. That was fantastic. And I also just wanted to let our scholars know that just our renewal scholars might remember that last year we did do like some follow-up together with this topic. I think we did it in a scholar support hours like in September, and that's where we meet weekly to work on things just together with those of you who are scholars and those of us who are scholar support specialists. And then also a couple of scholars reached out to us individually after this last year just asking if they could practice on the phone. And so that's something too that if anyone really wants to practice after working on this for a little while, you can let me or Tiana or Lori know, and we can do that too for follow-up. So yeah, so thank you again, Shireen, so much for your time and energy and expertise in this. It's so important. And we were talking actually in my breakout room how those of us who are Rankin scholars and alums are doing a lot of learning, a lot of us, not everyone, a lot of learning about talking confidently about ourselves, which is, so important and such a big deal. And this is great. This is a huge step in that too, and helping us with that. So it's meaningful.
Well, again, thank you. Thank you so much for allowing me to share. And happy to do it again if we ever needed to. So
Yeah. And there's and thank you, Lori, also here from Synchrony. She posted a survey link a little bit up in the chat, and I will email it out
Again.
tomorrow. Oh, thank you. There is
Yeah.
again. If you could please fill that out for our friends at Synchrony, really appreciate that when offering these. If you can just want to click on it right now, you could fill it out, and I'll send it again with the email tomorrow. So yeah, so thank you all for coming, and we hope to see all of you scholars on Sunday, either at New Scholar Orientation or Renewal Scholar Orientation. They should both be on your calendar. We will be sending out reminders this week all over the place, and that will be a really great time. And other than that, I hope you all have a great rest of your Tuesday. Thank you so much.
Thank
Synchrony.
you so much.
well,
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Good night.